Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be the compilation for every single ability worst to best. I'll also make sure to do the same exact thing with the ultimate abilities now that that is completed. But with that being said, enjoy the compilation. Alright, so we're gonna be going through every character's first ability ranked worst to best. With that being said, we're gonna have to go into our worst first ability, which has to be Flash Strike. And the reason I say Flash Strike, it's a good amount of damage. 15% is nothing to sneeze at. But the problem that I have with it is that the only way you can really combo with it is if the person is already on the ground. If I turn no cooldowns on and I use a Flash Strike, the only way I can really make it work is if I do something like this. If I use Flash Strike and immediately do Whirlwind Kick, they can't get back up. But we're not worried about Whirlwind Kick. We're worried strictly about Flash Strike and its combo potential. It doesn't ever really serve as a combo extender, and it's really a combo ender in most situations. If I were to do 3 M1s and immediately quick dash and Flash Strike, it's a good combo. Like this, a combo right here is good, but then they fly away because the game's like, no, we're not gonna let you do a crazy combo off of that. That's doing too much. I could immediately do a shuriken move after that, which is a good combo. Don't get me wrong. That's 39 damage right there, but it has its cons. Although it has a decent amount of damage, you are extremely vulnerable to it. If I spawn a dummy and he is a blocking dummy, why are you following me? If I go through Flash Strike, let's say this was a real character, he could immediately dash behind me and just disrupt that entirely. Plus, if I use a Flash Strike and it lands, if I'm close to them for one, I can't extend the combo. Maybe if I do a Whirlwind Strike right after, because don't get me wrong, sometimes it works. Like that, you can't dodge out of that. You can't block out of it. You can't even count it. If I'm too close, you can't do that. Wait, what, you can? Oh shoot, wait a minute. Well, my point still stands. The point of the matter is that Flash Strike is an extremely predictable ability. If it's blocked, it is very easy to counter off of it. And I'm not gonna lie, I was flip-flopping between this ability and the second ability that we're gonna get into, which has to be Machine Gun Blows. And the reason I put this at number 2, the damage is very good, as well as the fact that if you put finishers on, let me put finishers only. If you use Machine Gun Blows and you use it as a finisher, you can attack people that are also low or just people that are in vicinity of Machine Gun Blows. Flash Strike, you can't do that. If they are close to it, they get hit. There's no type of different variations when someone's low with Flash Strike. So this makes it just a little bit better. But when you use Machine Gun Blows, you are extremely slow and someone can immediately dash behind you and just disrupt that completely. And this does string into multiple combos. Like, don't get me wrong, if you use Machine Gun Blows and they fly in the air, because I'm pretty sure that's how it works, if I can turn finishers only off, if I use 3 M1s here, come on. If I use 3 M1s, Machine Gun Blows, I don't play this character, by the way, so I don't really know how I would really do this. But you can just see just off of that, you can use Blitzshot onto the ground. That's a bunch of damage, a bunch of damage. It is a blockable as well, which is a con. Someone could immediately block that as well and then just dash behind you. So the abilities that are also not a guard break are also what makes it a bad ability. So with that being said, we're gonna have to move on to our next first ability, which is going to be Home Run. And the reason this is better than Flash Strike and Machine Gun Blows, not only is it a guard break, if I can go to this blocking dummy over here, this dude just been chilling. But if you miss this, let's say I try to use Home Run on him and I miss, I can immediately flip back and make up for the miss that I did. And then you can combo that into Foul Ball and immediately into Grand Slam. And as they're falling, you can use a Beatdown. So let me see if I can actually reenact that. I don't play this character that much. I'm a Garo main. If I use Home Run, miss, go over to this guy, I can turn around, hit the wrong dummy, Home Run, miss, back up, Foul Ball, hit him away, move forward a little bit, go for a Grand Slam, and then use Beatdown. If I am good enough, I'll hit that Beatdown, but I'm not. But now we're gonna have to go into the second best first ability, which has to be Quick Slice. And the reason I'm putting Quick Slice here, first, let's go over the pros. If I use Quick Slice and there's a bunch of people around me, let me spawn another dummy here. Let's spawn 2 more. If I use Quick Slice, that is not Quick Slice. If I use Quick Slice with a bunch of people around me, I can attack every single one of them. The field of damage is extremely high. Like the entire range that you can use Quick Slice in is very large. So you can do a bunch of stuff with that. It's also very easy to catch people off guard with it. If I do Atmos Cleave and immediately just do Quick Slice, it's very hard to judge where they're gonna use it, because when you use the ability, you roll backwards, so it's super unpredictable. It's also hard to judge when the combo finishes to where you can get behind them. So let's say you're blocking the ability. Let's say someone uses Quick Slice on you and you're blocking the entire thing. If you're far away, you can't really hit them. And even if you are close, you have to be extremely precise with your timing in terms of stopping blocking and then going around them to finish the combo, if that makes sense. There's been many times where I've blocked quick slice and then I stopped blocking so I can dash around them, but I stopped blocking too early and I still got hit with one of the slashes and dude just finished the whole combo on me. So those are all its pros for it. Now, the only con I have for this is that whenever you use quick slice and there are people around you, they can interrupt it by just smacking you in the back of the head, but it's very easy to just turn around or just spam it. And since its field of damage is so high, people won't really be able to get that close if you know what you're doing with it. So honestly, even though this guy's a new character, his first ability is extremely good. Now we got to go on to our next first ability, which has to be Saitama's normal punch. And I know what you're thinking. Yo, this has no combo potential. If you hit it, they're flying 300 feet into the air. Even though it has no combo potential, it has so much damage that I don't even think it needs a combo. Look at that, minus 30% damage off of just one normal punch. That's without doing 3 M1s, uppercut, normal punch. Like, how much was that? They were already at 60. Now that one is around 34. Wait, that can't be right. Do 3 ones, uppercut, normal punch, and mix 3 M1s into an uppercut into a normal punch. How much damage is that? So 44 damage, almost half of their health gone off of one combo. The thing about normal punch, it's more of a combo finisher than a combo extender. So if I do a crazy combo, if I do a down slam, it's consecutive to another down slam, I do an uppercut, and I try to catch them while they're falling, do an uppercut, normal punch. Look at how much damage, 92%. And with the normal punch as a finisher, that's an extra 30% off of that. And that's not even counting for the 3 M1s with the uppercut, which was like 42. So this is very good in terms of damage. And when it comes to combo potential, come on now, is more just a finisher. And when it comes to vulnerability, you could honestly push people away with this as well if someone wants to get close. And if it is blocked, they are able to dash around you, but it kind of is a guard break. You could say it is. If someone's blocking and you're like right in front of their face, they're obviously still gonna go flying, but the damage on this and the finishing potential on it is what makes it so good. So that is what has to make it the second best first ability. Now on to the best first ability you can use, and that has to be flowing water. Now I'm not even gonna go over there because I don't feel like walking all the way to those dummies. Let me actually try to break this down. First of all, it's a guard break. If I spawn a blocking dummy right here, it's a guard break. That I don't even need to talk about that part. You can literally just go through somebody's block with it. For 2, let me spawn another dummy right here. Let's say I'm getting 1v2, right? I'm fighting this dude and this other guy is trying to come in. If I use flowing water, I can use it into the other guy and immediately just extend it however I want. On top of the fact that if you're using flowing water and someone tries to attack you, you are invincible. And we like to call it iframes. That's what I like to call it. When you have iframes, that just means every frame that you're in for a certain ability, you're invincible. It's the letter I. And flowing water just has all of that. On top of the fact that you have crazy combo potential. Let me see if I can do a Kyoto first try in this lobby. If I can do that, that's just a perfect example. If someone doesn't have ragdoll cancel, they're straight up stuck. So if I use flowing water, Kyoto, boom. Crazy combo potential. You can go to a flowing water and then some dude tries to come up, use a freaking praise peril, just keep attacking Lucy. See, and this dude's still trying to attack me. See, wait till the flowing water comes back. I'm gonna show y'all the second variation. Don't even try to run away now. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Flowing water, 100 okay, he used ragdoll cancel. I saw that coming. See, I'm getting carried away. I'm getting carried away. I need to kill this dude first. I need to show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay, hold on. Dang. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Okay, I can't. He's lagging. I'm out. We're gonna be going through every character's second ability ranked worst to best, and honestly, y'all, consecutive punches, I cannot describe to y'all how trash this ability is. First of all, it's not a guard break. So if somebody tries to block it, you can't do anything about it. If I spawn a blocking dummy right here and use consecutive punches, that is not, if I use consecutive punches right here, as you can see, the whole thing gets blocked. Sometimes people will stop blocking early and you can get a couple hits in, but dude, it doesn't really do that much in terms of comboing. You can do a down slam and do a consecutive punch into a down slam, but other than that, of course you can do 3 M1s or maybe 1 M1 or 2 and use consecutive punches, but most of the time, it's kind of just something to fill in for a combo. It doesn't really make or break a combo. It's just, if you don't use it, it's whatever. It just does more damage, and that's really about it. Now, if I were to go strictly off of starting it off as a combo, then, I mean, I guess you could... What? Anyways, if I started off a combo with consecutive punches, like let's say I started off if I started off with consecutive punches, I can do a whole bunch of other random stuff, right? Can I catch this guy? Oh my God. That was actually so clean. And she is not happy with what I just did. I am so sorry. That's also what's gonna be the second worst ability right there. At most cleave. We're just gonna transition. I don't know why she's going so crazy right now. I'm just gonna reset. Can I reset? Can I reset? Thank you. The second one, I'm gonna have to say at most cleave. And the reason I say this is because when you use the ability, you can't really move. That's first and foremost. Of course, after you use it, you can maybe get behind somebody. If they're not looking up the whole time, you can maybe use quick slice right afterwards. I'm gonna demonstrate once I get my ability back. I think it's a lot better to explain it as I'm in an actual public server rather than with the dummies. But if I do 3 M1s and then I use at most cleave, or I get flown in by a tornado, maybe this is not the best idea. So we're gonna go back into a private server because why? I immediately got death countered. I used the wrong ability for consecutive punches, and then I got hit with a tornado. Let me turn no cooldowns on, no dash cooldown on, and let's say I use at most cleave. Can I really combo with this? Maybe. I don't really play this character that much, so I don't really know how good you can use at most cleave with combos, but it looks like you can't really do that. Of course, you can use quick slice afterwards. So if I use at most cleave, and then I use quick slice, I think you can do something like that. That might work. If you use an at most cleave finisher, it doesn't bleed into any other person. So for example, if you were to use Agaro's second ability, if you use Lethal Whirlwind Stream and you landed it on somebody else, they're gonna get stunned and it's also gonna do damage to them. But with at most cleave, it doesn't do that. It strictly applies to this one person. So if I turn finishers on where is it? Right here, finishers only, and I use at most cleave, it will only affect the person that I've hit with at most cleave. It won't do it to anyone else that's in vicinity of that ability. Is it a guard break? Yes, it is, but it's also very slow. Look how much time you have to put into that stomp. It's a lot of time, and it's a bit in my opinion. All right, so for the third worst ability, I'm gonna have to say Whirlwind Kick. And don't get me wrong, when it comes to Whirlwind Kick, this is very, very good for combos. It's very good for stunning, and it kinda is a guard break. The reason I say that is because if I were to spawn a blocking dummy and I use Whirlwind Kick, I can still kind of guard break them, but the person that's blocking still has some time to hit me if they're blocking and I'm doing that little animation. The one thing that I'm kind of leaning towards in the positive side is that it's very hard to predict. It's literally just like a teleportation move. Unless someone has a good enough reaction time to block when I start to duck my head, then most times you can land it. Most Speed of Sound Sonics, they don't use this as a combo. They kind of use it as an engager, and that's why people punish them for using it. But the amount of time it takes for the kick to finally land, it also leads to the ability getting interrupted as well. But with how long it takes for the kick to land, you're also prone to getting the ability interrupted by like other attacks. And if I'm in a 1v2 situation and I use Whirlwind Kick on one person and the other guy's beside me, he can start slapping me up. But it's also very satisfying to use this in a combo. So if I use a little combo here, let's say, first let me turn finishers off because this is not gonna be a combo otherwise. If I do 3 M1s into an uppercut and flying shuriken and mid into explosive shuriken, and then I front dash, what is going on? 3 M1s into an uppercut into flying shuriken. As they're falling, you use front dash, 1, 2, 3, you use scatter, right? And then you do 3 M1s, and as soon as they hit the ground, you do a flash strike and go over and do a Whirlwind Kick. It is such a good combo. Look how much health they have. Just using the Whirlwind Kick as a finisher, it's so satisfying, right? But can you engage with Whirlwind Kick? You can do that, and you can use a combo off of it, but I've never seen it really done that much. So if I use Whirlwind Kick, I can use 3 M1s into an uppercut into flying shuriken, and then I can do pretty much the same combo. If I can land it, we do 3 M1s into a Whirlwind Kick, and then we do another 3 M1s into an uppercut. We use explosive shuriken, front dash immediately. We use another 3 M1s into a scatter. Then we use final 3 M1s, flash strike, jump 2 times, and then we front dash over. And then that is pretty much, it's not a full one-shot combo because they can kind of get out of it, but you can still use that if you start off with Whirlwind Kick. Now, how many attempts did it take for me to do that? We're not going to talk about it. Maybe you just learned a new combo today with Whirlwind Kick. I don't know, but we're going to go into the next second ability, which has to be Beatdown. And the reason I say this, for one, you can't really interrupt it. If I'm using Beatdown, you are in iframes, which if you don't know what that is, you're basically invincible as you use it. If you use Beatdown while someone is nearby, you can also smack them in the front of the head with the bat. So I can also do damage like that, and you can stun them with it. See, we're getting into some more pros rather than the cons. You can do it from far away. If I'm standing here and I use Beatdown, I can also dash into him with it. It can be used as kind of a front dash in most situations. Now, what are the cons? Is it a blockable? Yes, it is. If I spawn a blocking dummy here and I use Beatdown, it's blocked. Now, to be honest, there's not a lot of cons for it other than that. If you miss Beatdown, yeah, you're pretty stunned. Like, you can't really move for a little bit, so you can get punished. That's also one thing to think about. The combo potential is absolutely crazy though, because if I use 3 M1s into an uppercut, I can use Beatdown as well if I'm good enough to do it. Uppercut, Beatdown. Holy, you gotta be a little bit patient with it. You gotta wait till like they're right about to hit the ground. So 1, 2, 3, Beatdown. Right there. So that can be used as a combo. You can use something like this and then to a grand slam if you're good enough to actually land it while they're falling, because trust me, it's not that easy. Or at least for me, it's not that easy for me. Why? Because I don't really play this character that much. Beatdown is just, it's such a fast move. Like, the only way you can really block it is if you know the character's gonna use it. If you're fighting and someone just whips it out on you, pause, you can't really block it. It's very hard to block it with just reaction time. Now we're gonna have to go into our second best ability, which has to be Lethal Whirlwind Stream. And now this, I was really thinking about putting this at number 1, but I'm gonna explain that once we get into the last one, which I'm pretty sure you guys can guess which one it is. But the thing with Lethal Whirlwind Stream, again, you are in iframes, you move around with it, you can stun other people if they're around, if they're nearby, you can knock them over, do more damage, all that type of stuff. It has crazy combo potential. You can do a front dash with it. If you are good enough and spam space fast enough, you can do a flowing water combo into it. You can even use Hunter's Grasp as soon as they land on the ground. You don't even have to wait for them to hit the ground either, because if you spam Hunter's Grasp fast enough, you can also combo with that. Every ability that is not Lethal Whirlwind Stream and counter, you can combo with. Even a regular front dash you can use, right? If I use Lethal Whirlwind Stream, I go 1, 2, 3. I can also use a down slam with that. And then I can use whatever I want, use whatever combo I need to do. So it is very versatile in that aspect. Now, what are its cons? Is it a guard break? It's not. It is not a guard break at all. If I use Lethal Whirlwind Stream, they can block it. Now, they can't block flowing water, which is why it's best for the first abilities. But for number 2, the main con is the fact that it's blockable. So with that being said, we're gonna have to get into our final and best second ability, which has to be Ignition Burst. And the reason I say this is the best, I had to really think about this, because Lethal Whirlwind Stream, you can do so many combos with it, you can do so much damage, it's versatile, you can stun people while you're doing it. But the thing with Ignition Burst is that it has a lot of speed, not even in terms of just moving. It's very hard to react to, because if somebody's blocking, you can just turn around and hit them that way. Even if they are blocking, you'll still do damage, right? If someone is like 10% health, 5% health, and you use Ignition Burst, let me get this guy low real quick. Let's say he's blocking, right? If I use Ignition Burst and he's still blocking, that would still kill him. Like, the little roll that they do when they're blocking, the wind and just the knockback would still kill them, which is honestly so annoying. You can use this in the air. You can use it aerially. You can use it to run away, but if you do, I hate you. And if you're good enough, which I don't even know how you guys do it, I think you would have to do 3 M1s and then you would have to blast forward and then immediately do, I don't know how y'all do it. You Genos players scare me, like, genuinely. So you would have to like turn around and something like that. And honestly, yeah, after you use it, they do fly away, but Genos really isn't that much of a close quarters character. He's a lot of running and explosives, and that's why I hate him so much. Garo for me is really just good for close combat and just stringing everything together, which is why I wanted to put it at number 1. But the thing with Ignition Burst is just you're able to do so much with it in terms of mobility. But if I wasn't recording right now and somebody told me what's the best second ability, I'm saying Lethal Whirlwind Stream. I don't care. That's my main character. This is just, it pisses me off. He just pisses me off. I hate Genos. I hate Genos. I hate Genos. Today, we're going to be going through every character's third ability, worst to best. And before I even get into the worst ability, I want to make something clear. Every single ability from every character is good. Every character's third ability is actually good. There's no bad abilities on this list. But if you were to compare them all beside each other, some of them just are worse than others. Like, I honestly think every ability in this list, none of them's trash. Like, all of them are extremely good, but they're just not as comparable to other third abilities. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to say that the worst ability is Blitzshot. And now it has a lot of pros, it has some cons. The pros with Blitzshot, for one, when you use it, you can be suspended in the air, you can hold it. So if people were to block or if people were to try to use counter, you can just wait for that to stop and you can use Blitzshot. Even if someone's blocking, it still does damage. You can shoot it at them does a little bit of damage, and they roll back. I'm pretty sure I've seen someone use ignition burst right after, so you can do something like that as well. So again, these are not bad abilities. I'm telling you, every single ability that I'm going to be talking about is good when it comes to the third ones. Now, what are the cons for this? It does have some startup. People are able to interrupt it, even though it's very unlikely to do so, because anytime you use Blitzshot, they're either going to be on the ground or they're just not going to be close to you. You can use it when they're on the ground too, and you can be able to combo with that type of stuff. But like, I don't know, in terms of just racking up damage in like one combo, I feel like Blitzshot wouldn't be the right candidate for that. Like if you have someone at 100% health and they don't have ragdoll canceled, I can't see an extremely effective way or a consistent way to use Blitzshot, but maybe I'm wrong. Hey, Genos players, let me know, where would you put this in the list? I want you guys to put a list down in the comments, like an updated list, because look, this is all opinionated. Somebody could think that Blitzshot is the best ability, somebody could think this is the worst, but just based off the way I play the game and the way that I see its pros and cons, I'm gonna have to put it as the worst ability. Now, with that being said, the second worst ability is gonna have to be Shove. And now the reason I put Shove, for one, it's very restricted to one person when you want to use it. Of course, if two people are side by side, you can hit them, but it's very rare that that happens. Right, so if I use Shove, no, it's very rare that this happens, right? You can use Shove after an uppercut, even though like I don't really see a reason to do that, especially if you have Uppercut. You can definitely use it. Like you can use that as a combo. It's actually pretty effective. Now the thing with Shove, if I were to down slam somebody, I can't use it at all. I just can't use it. You have to be extremely close when using Shove. Like if I were to actually move forward to this guy, if I'm in the same square as him, I have to be about right here for it to land. Now there is a finisher for it, like most abilities. Like if they're at a certain health and you just use Shove, they're gonna explode. So it's good in that aspect. If you were to do a Shove and mix it with an M1, you can't really do it with dummies because of lag, and their ping is just high because they're a dummy. But if you use Shove and do M1, you can stop them from rolling, and you can do consecutive punches, you can do uppercut, and you can even uppercut into a normal punch. So it does have extremely good combo potential, but all of these abilities have good combo potential, so it's very hard to put this any higher in the list. Now, moving on to our third worst ability, which I'm gonna say is Hunter's Grasp. And I know what y'all are thinking. Y'all, some people think that I'm gonna put any ability that's Garo at the highest part of the list, but trust me, bro, Hunter's Grasp is kinda eh if you compare all the other ones. I'm able to admit that Hunter's Grasp is kinda mid. Now, the reason I say this, I would say that Hunter's Grasp has more pros than it does cons. Of course, that's what it has to have. If it has more cons than pros, then it's trash. But I know a lot of y'all were expecting this to be at like #1 because I'm a Garo main, but nah. Now, the problem that I have with Hunter's Grasp is, for one, you have to be extremely close when you're using it, as you can see. So you're not gonna be able to use it with a lot of people around. But if a lot of people are around, when you use Hunter's Grasp, you are in iframes. Now, for the people that don't know what iframes are, it's literally when you're invincible and you cannot be touched while using the ability. So if I use Hunter's Grasp right here and someone's attacking me, I can hit a strike. I can bowl into them. I do that a lot. I could probably pull up a clip of me doing it. Spoochie played a clip. So you can actually use it in a lot of 1v2 situations. So it's very effective in different situations. Now, of course, if someone's on the ground and you use Hunter's Grasp, it's a lot easier to do combos. It's actually very easy to do combos, right? So it has a lot of combo potential. Now, if someone's on the ground and I put on finishers only, you're also in iframes when you do that as well. Plus, when you use it, if I can find finishers only, I never know how to use this freaking menu. If someone's nearby and you use Hunter's Grasp, they can also get hit by the AoE. They can get hit by the ground around them. If you have two people that are low and you use Hunter's Grasp on one, then they could also possibly die. That guy was at 7 health. He lost 5% from that. That can stack up very fast. So that was the third worst ability, and now we're gonna have to go into the third best ability, which I'm gonna say is Grand Slam. Now, Grand Slam is very versatile, I would have to say. For one, you can use it for combos when they're standing up. So let me actually turn finishers off, and if I were to use 3 M1s, I can do an uppercut into a Grand Slam and do another combo. What the heck was that? 1, 2, 3, Grand Slam. Just play the video of Kermit falling. Grand Slam.
Oh my God!
All right, so we're gonna do 3 M1s, uppercut, Grand Slam, actually hit him this time, right? So you can do that, and then you can branch off of other combos. You can do a beatdown, you can do home run, you can do foul ball. All of these abilities are actually very various in what you can do, right? So I can use home run after. No, it's very easy to do combos with Metal Bat, and I think that's why a lot of people choose him. And Grand Slam also has a different variation. If someone's over there, you can just crack, like, bro, you can fly over to him. Now, and look how far you are. Let's say, how many squares is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 squares away, and I'm still able to hit him. I know a lot of people would think, well, you can't really do any combos off of that. Wrong. If I use Grand Slam as they're falling, I can use Beatdown, and then I can do another home run. And then I can use foul ball when they're falling. So again, Grand Slam is very versatile. Now, even if you were to down slam somebody and go backwards and use Grand Slam, you can still hit them with it. And they can roll away and you can branch off of combos like that. Now, it's very hard to dictate whether or not they'll roll or not. It really only happens when they're still on the ground, but still, it's very easy. Jesus, it has so much combo potential and it does very decent damage. Like if I do this 100%, they go to 83, 17%. It's decent. So that being said, that is the third best ability. Now I'm gonna have to go into the second best ability, and this was a very tough decision to make because the first one is literally right beside it. But I'm gonna have to say Pinpoint Cut. Now, Pinpoint Cut is God tier. Not God, I'm not gonna say God tier because it's not number one, but it is demigod tier. First thing with Pinpoint Cut, it has a lot of movement and it has some speed. Right? If this dude is over here minding his business, you know, he's admiring the trash can, right? They polish their trash cans in this game. It doesn't look dirty, right? People don't litter. Very clean place. He's appreciating the trash can. And you can pull up far as crap and still hit him. That's a lot of distance that I had to go in order to hit him, and yet I was still able to do it. 15% damage as well, right? Which is good. Very, very decent as well when you use Pinpoint Cut. If I were to down slam him, I can still use Pinpoint Cut and combo off of that. Actually, I can show you. If I use a down slam and do Pinpoint Cut, I can front dash and do whatever the heck I want. I can do Atmos Cleave and then do whatever the heck I was talking about in the last video with Quick Slice, and bro's dead. Very easy. I wouldn't say easy, but you can do combos with Pinpoint Cut as the starter. You can even do an uppercut, as weird as it looks, and do combos with that. So it's very versatile with that as well. Now, why is this above Grand Slam? The reason I put this above Grand Slam, I could say the movement, but Grand Slam also has that movement. But the thing with it is that it's very easy to get close to. Like, I feel like Grand Slam to an extent can be dodged easier than Pinpoint Cut, right? And it's a guard break, and Grand Slam is also a guard break, so like it's very close, but it's easier to land the ability with Pinpoint Cut as opposed to Grand Slam because it's a very set spot that you're landing. So if I wanted to land to this guy and he dashes to the left, you know, that's easily dodgeable. But if he dashes to the left, I can curve at the last moment and still hit him with it, right? If you're good enough and if you're fast enough, you can still hit people with that. As well, you can use that. I almost forgot. There's a second variation. Like, oh my God. And y'all were getting on my case about Atmos Cleave and his combo potential. I didn't even realize you can use, I didn't even realize you can do that. But you can use Pinpoint Cut. What am I doing? Atmos Cleave, and as they're falling, you can use Pinpoint Cut. Like, bro, I'm gonna make a video of me playing this dude because this is probably my 5th time ever selecting him. I don't play this character at all. But yes, Pinpoint Cut has a different variation. It has a lot of movement, has good speed. It's a guard break. You can hit him while they're uppercutted. You can hit him while they're down slammed. You can hit him in any way, shape, or form. Does not matter. So, with that being said, we're gonna have to get into our best ability. And this is very debatable. I'm not gonna lie. If you believe that this is worse than Pinpoint Cut, you are welcome to believe that. I would not even be mad because these are both so good. They're so good. I think y'all know what it is, but I'm gonna have to say Scatter. Now, why would I put this above Pinpoint Cut? First thing, it has a lot more movement. If I'm over here, I can still attack these people, as well as I can attack multiple people, and my ultimate will go up a lot faster, right? Because there have been times where I've used Scatter on 3, 4, 5 groups of people, and I got my ultimate so fast, especially in 2v2 situations. Sometimes if I'm in a 2v2 with my friends, I will tell them, yo, let me scatter you. Let me scatter you, and then kind of play a little bit passive, so I get my ult a little bit faster, and then we can win the game easy peasy. Now, you might call that cheesy, but it's not. It is, but it's not. Why? Because it's speechy, right? So you can use it that way. You can't use it as well with Uppercut because, you know, when they're on the ground, the scatter doesn't really pick them up as much, right? So if someone's on the ground or if someone is blocking, you don't really get that same distance. But if you're a good Sonic player, what the heck was that? If you're a good Sonic player, you're able to dash behind them immediately after. Like, it literally doesn't even matter. The reason I'm putting it above Pinpoint Cut is literally just because you can attack multiple different people with it. You can do a bunch of combos with it after hitting multiple people. So you can hit all these guys. There's been so many times where I've used scatter on 4 or 5 different people and then immediately just use explosive shuriken. And I'm already like halfway to ult with that. Literally, it's so fast. You can use it to run away, even though if you do, I hate you. You can just use it to get close to somebody. Like, bro, I'm all the way, let's say I want to go to that guy. I'm right here. I can get all the way towards him, and at the very last point, I can still hit him and do combos with it. Like, that's OP. Everybody hates Sonic because he's able to do stuff like that, and I don't blame you. It's OP. It is OP. But that's all I got for this video. I appreciate the support on this series. If you guys want me to do it for every single ability, which is what I plan on doing, as well as the ultimates, let me know. Today, we're going to be going through every character's 4th ability, worst to best. And before we get into this, I want to make this clear again, because I had to say this in my last video. Every ability that we have here is good, but if you compare them with one another, some of them just don't perform. By the way, I'm going to be doing giveaways for every single video, and in order to enter, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and let me know that you're subscribed down in the comments, and you have a possibility of winning anything you want in terms of the game. You can get some emotes, early access, VIP, does not matter. So make sure you subscribe. Let me know down in the comments. With that being said, we're going to have to get into our worst ability, which has to be Praise Peril. And I'm not even Garo. I gotta reset my character. But I know what some of y'all are thinking. Bro, you main Garo. Why are you putting counter for Garo at the very bottom of the barrel? Now look, I have my reasons. But first, let's go into the pros of using Praise Peril. The pros of using it: you are in iframes when you use it. If you guys don't know what iframes is, it's basically when you are invincible whenever you're using it. If I use counter here, anybody that is around me, they basically just can't hit me. And if they're too close, they also get caught up in the ability. Another pro, it does a bunch of damage. What was that? 21% off of one counter. Plus, it is a very good finisher in terms of hitting other people. If someone's too close, the slam that they do at the end, I can even show you guys that. If I put finishers on here and use counter, the very end of the animation can also catch people off guard. It can hit people as well. Now, even though these are very good pros, it's a very good ability, but what are the cons for it? The cons is extremely frustrating because the first thing with counter in general, it is a very reactive and it is a very defensive ability. It's not very versatile and you can't use it in a lot of situations other than if someone just is hitting you a lot or if you see an ability coming from a mile away and you just have good reaction time. Now the cons of it, if you have someone that is Speed of Sound Sonic or Saitama or anybody that has an ability that is extremely fast, right? If you use Flash Strike or Scatter with Speed of Sound Sonic or you use Serious Punch, if you use counter, sometimes you'll just teleport like 3 feet forward and the counter doesn't even hit them. Now you're just stuck slapping the air randomly and you don't know what to do. Now there are some times where you can get out of that, but most times you really can't. And there's actually a movement ability that you can perfect to where if you counter, someone can still get out of it, right? So you can do a down slam, right? A regular old down slam. Let's say this weakest dummy's Garo. If I go back at the very last second when they use counter, the gravitational pull of the counter doesn't affect me. Why does counter have a gravitational pull? I don't know. This is also very good. So like I said, none of these abilities are bad at all in the slightest, but when you compare them with one another, some of them just don't perform. So with that being said, we're gonna have to get into our second worst ability, which has to be Jet Dive. And I'm not even gonna switch into the character first, but I know I hate Genos, but I had to give him some love a little bit. I'm pretty sure on the second ability, he was #1, but this one put a little bit lower. Now, why is Jet Dive so low? For one, it's the same thing with Praise Peril in terms of versatility. You can't use it when someone is extremely close to you, right? You straight up can't, no matter how you put it. If I can put no cooldowns on, if you don't slap me in the front of the head, you can't really use it if you're too close. Now, you can use it while running away. You can use it to pursue somebody. You can use it in those types of situations. It's very predictable as well. The only reason it really works is if someone is extremely low and you catch them off guard, or if someone is ragdolled. So if I do this, get them on the ground, and then I use Jet Dive, and they don't have ragdoll cancel, yes, that will work. And when you're in the air, now this is a pro, this is not a negative, this is a positive. Whenever you use Jet Dive as a finisher, you are so high in the air, you can use Ignition Burst, you can use Blitzshot, and you can just stay up there for a little bit and just start raining down hell and just piss people off. And one of those people is me. I hate Genos. I don't think I've told y'all this. I hate him. But Jet Dive is still a good ability nonetheless, but there are some abilities that are better than it. So speaking of abilities that are better than it, we're gonna have to go into into our third worst ability, which has to be, drumroll please, split second counter. Now, why is this counter way better than the Garo counter? Now, there's actually a bunch of reasons on why this is better. I did not mention that the first counter, you can deflect shuriken, you can deflect trash cans, you can deflect Genesis fireball, which are all very good as well. But with Garo's counter, the only way you can combo with it is if you do something very specific. Let's go back to Garo real quick so I can show you guys what I'm talking about before we even get into Atomic Samurai's pros and cons. Now, if I were to use counter, and let's say this guy didn't have ragdoll cancel and I use counter, and I look the other way, right? See, I can use Hunter's Grasp and I can do a combo off of that if they don't have ragdoll cancel. But it's very specific on if they have ragdoll cancel or not. Plus, sometimes you can use counter and you can look the other way so they don't get hit by that final strike, and you'll still end up hitting them and you can't do it at all. Now, I don't know why it's not working with the dummy, but there are times where that happens. Garo mains, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But with split second counter, you have very, 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 very high combo potential because counter with Atomic Samurai does not move them at all. You can immediately do a combo after it. Plus, Atomic Samurai has a passive ability where he'll sometimes have a second counter or a second ability that he can use. Right, so if I use counter, right, I can immediately get into my own ability. Now, it's finishers only on still, and that is also the most sexiest finisher you can ever have on any game ever. And that's also just a reason why I'm putting it up. But if I turn no finishers off and I use counter, you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. This is not an attacking dummy, but we're just gonna move you. So if I use split second counter, I can immediately go into my own combo. You can't do that with Garo, simply because when you hit them, they go 50 feet. Now, the reason the counters aren't higher is because, again, it's very defensive and it's very reactive. The only way it'll work offensively if the person you're fighting is stupid. And what I mean by that is if you walk up somebody and just use counter because they're completely oblivious, yeah, it'll work. Maybe if they're fighting somebody else, you want to use do like a little mini death counter type move. But most times it's just like if you are an extremely skilled player and you're very good at predicting, you're very good at reacting to certain abilities, yes, counter is extremely good. But I also believe that you can be a great player without using counter at all. There was a time where I never used counter and I was still doing just as good. Now, there are some points where it's completely obvious to use counter, like some Genos use a jet dive or someone running at you with a scatter, or just very slow abilities that you can use counter with. Even foul ball, that's very slow. You can use counter with that. There are certain situations where you can't execute it. It's just very specified. And the abilities that I'm about to go over next, you can use it in a lot of different situations. So with that being said, we're gonna have to get into our third best ability, which I'm gonna say has to be Uppercut. Now, the reason we're putting Uppercut on this part of this list specifically, let's go over the pros first. Now, there are a lot of abilities where you only have to have the dummy either standing up or sitting down or ragdolled when you have to use it. But with Saitama, it doesn't matter, especially when you're using Uppercut. They could be on the ground or they can be standing up, and Uppercut will work the exact same way. They don't go farther, they don't have some type of weird property with it. They literally move the exact same way. Plus, the combo potential is very high, and when you land these combos, you do a bunch more damage. As you can see, I'm doing this combo extremely consistently, and you can do it in so many different ways, and it's honestly not that hard to miss it. Plus, there are different variations. By using Uppercut, I can use a front dash if I'm not stupid. Let me spawn another dummy real quick. If I use an Uppercut on this dummy, you can also front dash while they're falling, and I can actually hit it real quick, right? You can also do it that way. And I haven't even tried using consecutive punches with a shove, with an uppercut, with a normal punch. I hadn't even tried none of that. Because if I go here, right, I can use consecutive punches. If I was in the actual lobby, I'd be able to do something different. But still, it is extremely versatile. Now, can you use it long ranged? No, you can't. You have to make sure that the person is close range. But with these next abilities on this list, you can do a bit of both. So with that being said, we're gonna have to go into our second best ability, which I'm gonna say has to be Foul Ball. And the reason I'm putting Foul Ball on this part of this list, like I said, you can use it close range and you can use it long range. It has two different versions. If I hit somebody with the Foul Ball directly, it can be a finisher, like so, or you can use a combo for it. If I actually move this guy over here, if I move a little bit forward, I can use a down slam. As they're falling, I can go into a beatdown if I'm good enough to use it, but I suck up, man. Okay, let's try that again. So if I use a Foul Ball, right, and not actually do the second variation, let me do a down slam first. Bro, chill. If I do a little M1 combo and then I use Foul Ball and now it's a finisher, I'm playing like actual doo-doo on some dummies. These aren't even real people. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, use Foul Ball, right? And then you move forward a little bit, you go for a grand slam as they're falling, use beatdown, right? And it's extremely, I wouldn't say it's extremely easy, but foul ball can be used in that way. You can't even dodge out of it. If you're fast enough, I don't think you can counter either. Now that's just the first variation. The second variation is the long range. Now you gotta have some aim with it, but when you do land it, first you can hit multiple people at the same time. It does have area of effect damage. Now the cons with foul ball, if you're good enough and somebody uses it too close to you, you can just dash around it. So many freaking metal bats, they'll try to use foul ball on me and I'll just immediately dash around them and just do whatever I want with a combo. But again, it's very versatile. You can use it long range, you can use it short range, you can use foul ball on somebody and then you can immediately use grand slam if you are good enough. But again, I am dookie. So again, you can use foul ball, grand slam, do whatever you need to do, but I can't really demonstrate it because I suck. Now, with that being said, we're going to have to get into our best ability, and I know I'm about to get slandered by every person that watches me in the comments. Every single one of y'all are going to think I'm crazy. But again, this is not a completely defined list. Everybody has their own different mains. They have different characters that they like to play, different characters that they hate. Genos. You know, y'all can have your own updated list in the comments. If you don't agree, don't slander me, please. My feelings are going to be hurt. You can put your own updated list, all right? So relax. So why am I Genos? Why am I this bucket of bolts? Let me switch. So the best ability is going to have to be... Now, I was talking about versatility. I was talking about abilities being able to use close range and long range and having combo potential, and Explosive Shuriken, believe it or not, has all of that, right? If I can use 3 M1s and use Explosive Shuriken, I can combo with that. Now, I gotta make sure they're actually close when I do it, but I can use Explosive Shuriken and I can use a front dash if I am good enough. But wait a second, hold on, let me spawn this dummy. 1, 2, 3, uppercut, Explosive Shuriken, front dash. Boom, okay? And then we can do scatter, we can do whatever we need to do. We can do 3 M1s, we can do a flash strike, whatever we need to do, right? That is the first variation. Now, second variation, if you don't really want to do a crazy combo, you can immediately do 3 M1s into an Explosive Shuriken, and as they're falling, right, as they're falling, you can use a flash strike or you can use scatter. If I use 3 M1s, immediately use this and I go into a scatter, they can't really do anything. They can't block, they can't do anything about it. It's a sad story. I use 3 M1s and I immediately use Explosive Shuriken and actually land it, for crying out loud. Please hit that. And then we use flash strike, they just die, and it's extremely high in terms of combo potential. And now that was just the first set of combos. I didn't even show you guys the second set. You can down slam somebody and you can immediately jump, use flash strike. That's not flash strike. You can use Explosive Shuriken on them while they're on the ground, right? If you can use it on the side of them, you can front dash. You guys are in the way. Can you move, please? Move, move, move. You can use down slam and you can immediately use a Shuriken right here, and then you can just do whatever combo you need to do, all right? And that's the down slam variation. Now, I showed you guys there's an uppercut variation, there's a regular M1 variation, and there is a down slam variation. Plus, you can use it close range and long range. There's been so many times where someone has knocked me over and I'll like ragdoll cancel and immediately jump and then just use a downwards Explosive Shuriken, and it hits them like 9 times out of 8.5. It's too good, right? And it's also extremely annoying. If you play a good Sonic player, most of the time that Shuriken is going to hit you directly in the chin. It's not going to miss. Plus, like, you can evade counter with it so easily. If someone just uses counter a lot, you can just use it to the side. Do whatever you need to do, right? It is so easy to mess somebody up with it. Now, again, you can use it long range, right? Of course, you don't have 7 abilities and 7 Shuriken that you can use at once, but you get the gist. There's been so many times where I've been in the 1v1, and the second the match starts, I just throw a Shuriken directly right in between the gap of their teeth, and it's horrible. But with that being said, that is every character's 4th ability ranked worst to best. Thanks for watching, and make sure to click on this video right here.